really good Black Friday sales, and we're going to present them in this webinar. So stay tuned. And of course, we're gonna, again, in the end of the webinar, we're gonna show you the 1 month forecast of the algorithm for all the best indices and sectors that we see in for the following month. We're gonna talk about 2026. We're gonna talk about interesting sectors in the AI universe. So it's gonna be an interesting webinar. And all right, what do you say? We ready?
Yeah, I want to see more answers. Okay, guys, tell us which stocks is your favorite in general. Which stocks are you focusing for 2026? And also, who is going to be the AI winner? Who is going to win and to provide more actually performance in the upcoming year? Whether it's NVDA, the Queen NVDA, right? How do you call it, Ben? Or Google? The Queen,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, I see some interesting questions. Answers, actually. I'm ready to go when you are ready to go, Ben.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, great. Okay, hello. It's good to see so many people here today. We are going to have a very interesting webinar. In this webinar, we are going to focus on the upcoming year, 2026. How we can utilize artificial intelligence in order to identify the best opportunities for the upcoming years and also for December, the upcoming month, which is a very interesting month. We summarizing November today, and let's start to map and to see to identify the opportunities for the upcoming month. I'm going to start with a quick introduction of I know first. We are AI company. Our main product is a predictive algorithm that basically generates daily forecasts for the financial markets and identifies the most promising investment opportunities. We are utilizing deep learning, artificial neural networks, genetic algorithms to predict the financial markets. Our AI algorithm is generating daily forecasts for over 13,500 assets from different asset classes: equities, ETFs, indices, commodities, currencies, even cryptocurrencies, with daily forecasts for multiple timeframes, short-term, mid-term, and also long-term. This is a global solution. We are covering over 50 global stock exchanges. Of course, our main focus is in the markets in the US, but we are also covering 50 other global stock exchanges, including the markets in Europe, Asia, and even more. And let's jump directly to the market. What do we see here, Ben?
Yeah, what we see here is a forecast from last Friday. Our client got this forecast before the trading start, and you can find, of course, 10 best stocks to buy for a period of 3 days. We're going to talk about how the forecast looks like, but just to give you a quick sample for the best stocks that the algorithm gave for the next 3 days, and we can find in the top of it CLSK, CIFR, Wolf, DMRC, HOT, and Riot. We see a lot of the crypto-related stocks actually, and those stocks actually jumped pretty strong on Friday. We have CLSK with 12% only on Friday, CIFR with 6%, HOT and Riot almost 7%. Of course, one stock didn't go to the right direction. We can see DMRC, but 5 out of the 6 jumped on Friday, and that's just a glimpse of what the algorithm is capable of doing, focusing on the best stock, the best opportunities. We're going to elaborate about it later, but just to give you a quick example, and to our who been with us in the last webinar, if you remember, we talked about the biotech sector, and we showed you at the end of the webinar, as we're going to do today, the forecast for the next month. We can see the forecast from 16th of November, and XBI was in the top of this table. XBI, it's the biotech sector. You can also find here, by the way, XLV, the healthcare sector, and the stocks. And after that, in the webinar, we showed you a biotech forecast as well, as we can see here. So XBI from the last webinar until today jumped by 13%. Two stocks out of the 5 here that we can see in the biotech forecast, HBIO and RIGL, jumped by 36% and 27% from our last webinar, which is kind of crazy. So this is just a glimpse for what we showed you in the last webinar. We presented that forecast. We're going to show you in this webinar as well. At the end of this webinar, we're going to show you the forecast for the next month from today, which sectors and indices are the best to be in for the following month. So you better stay tuned.
And of course, we're going to show you also by the end of this webinar, the updated forecast for 2026 of both NVDA and also Google. And I would like to introduce the Dino First team. The predictive algorithm was developed by our R&D team that being led by Dr. Lipa Roitman, our co-founder. Dr. Roitman has more than 23 years of experience, specifically in the field of artificial intelligence, machine learning, artificial neural network, genetic algorithms. He got his PhD from the Weizmann Institute of Science, and is leading our R&D team that includes data scientists, people with the background of AI, machine learning, we have math professor from the Tel Aviv University, as well as employees with the background of data science, physics, and also IDF veterans, specifically from the intelligence unit. Ben Rubin is the head of our advisory, is going to lead today this webinar. My name is Yaron Golger. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Dino First. I'm also lecturing at one of the leading universities here in Israel. I'm an engineer with EMBA from the Ben-Gurion University. The Dino First predictive algorithm is being trusted by the world's leading hedge funds, investment houses, family offices, banks, as well as brokerage firms and retail clients, high net worth individuals, and also professional traders from all over the world that utilizing the predictive algorithm in order to identify opportunities in the market on a daily basis with the power of AI. With some of the, in this list, you can find leading hedge funds, leading investment houses, leading family offices, and also prop companies from all over the world. They are utilizing our technology basically in order to identify opportunities in the market on a daily basis. With some of them, we are also developing different AI-powered investment vehicles. With Meitav Investment House, we have launched the first AI-powered mutual fund that's being listed in the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. And with different entities, we are working on producing and developing additional investment vehicles that relying on our AI technology. The solution that you're about to see has received several international awards, including from UBS, Entity Data in Japan, and the Geneva Wealth Tech Forum as the best AI-powered solution for the wealth tech industry. Yeah, here you can find several photos from those events, ceremonies. And we are really proud to cooperate with the Reichman University. We are delivering for the 4th year already, FinTech and AI courses. And we are really proud to have this cooperation. In our website, you can find different media coverage about the predictive algorithm. And We were really happy to meet some of you on Kong FinTech Week recently. In the website, you can also find several client reviews that can assist you to identify the package that might be relevant for you.
Yep, and if you haven't joined yet to our WhatsApp group, WhatsApp community, feel free to do so by scanning the QR code and join our growing large community. I must say, in this WhatsApp group, we are sending almost on a daily basis future forecast, AI articles, and a lot of AI information. So stay tuned and join our WhatsApp group by scanning the QR code on your screen.
1 second, Ben. Give me the QR code. It's about time that I will be part of that as well. Okay. Thanks. Okay. So what do? Basically, we are offering two solutions to our clients. On one hand, it's possible to use our predictive algorithm, the daily forecast that the predictive algorithm is generating on a daily basis in order to identify opportunities in the market on a daily basis. So basically, every morning when you turn on your computer, you're going to receive a fresh prediction, fresh forecast with the best opportunities for the short term, for the midterm, and also for the long term. And this feed is being sent on a daily basis. We are connecting you to our AI algorithm, and every day you are receiving the best opportunities as a decision supporting tool that basically identifying opportunities for you with the help of the AI. On top of that, we have developed systematic solutions that basically converting the daily forecast into a portfolio. And we are going to talk about this solution as well. Basically, the idea is to convert the daily forecast into a portfolio, and basically you are receiving a monthly portfolio with the best opportunities that the AI has identified. The INO-first predictive algorithm includes 3 components. All of those components are available to you. The first component is basically providing you or identifying for you the most promising investment opportunities from any market that you're going to choose. It could be the S&P 500 universe or any other universe within the US market, the Russell 2000, Russell 1000, and you can also drill down into the different sectors within the US market. On top of that, it's possible to use the AI in order to receive stock market intelligence, to identify leading sectors, to identify leading regions across the globe, and also to identify sectors and regions that we should basically avoid. And the last component is providing you a customized solution, basically based on your portfolio. So let's say you are currently investing in NVDA, Google, and Uber. On a daily basis, you can receive a custom forecast for your portfolio, for your own tickers. You can send us your ticker list and to receive a custom AI-powered portfolio. And basically by combining those 3 components, you can identify opportunities every day on one end, and on the other end, to basically track your own portfolio with the power of the AI. So how do we do it? Basically, we are utilizing the power of artificial intelligence. Our predictive algorithm is collecting a significant amount of data sets that coming from the entire financial market. We are collecting data that's coming from the different stock exchanges that we are monitoring. We are collecting data that's coming from the interest rate market. We are collecting data that's coming from the commodities market, currency market, even cryptocurrency market. We are adding the daily database to our the daily data to our historical database. We are monitoring. We have built a database with historical data, and around the clock, the predictive algorithm is learning from the new data that's coming all the time from the market, from the historical data and also from the combined data, and basically building the complex network that exists in the financial market. In the financial markets, there are thousands of correlation sets, and the AI algorithm is able to build this complex network on a daily basis by utilizing our technology to model all those different correlation sets. And you are receiving the bottom line of this out of this complex process, the best opportunities for the short term, for the midterm, and also for the long term. This process is being done on a daily basis without any human intervention. So you're receiving an objective forecast with the best opportunities for the different time frames that you see on the right on a daily basis. Basically, we are utilizing different AI approaches. We are utilizing artificial neural networks. We are utilizing genetic algorithms. We are also utilizing supervised learning. The goal of this complex process is basically to separate the predictable part of the market from the unpredictable part. And this is basically what the algorithm is doing on a daily basis, filtering out the noise, filtering out the assets that are less predictable, and focusing on the most predictable of each investment universe. It could be the S&P 500 universe. So every day the algorithm is filtering out the assets that are less predictable from the S&P 500 and focusing on the most predictable assets from the S&P 500, and we are doing it for any investment universe. It could be the Russell 1000, Russell 2000, or even specific sectors. Okay, Ben, tell us, what do we see here?
Yeah, we can see actually the forecast, and the forecast comes in the shape of a heat map. The green cells represent long position, while the red one represents short position or sell. And we are actually using two indicators to focus on the best opportunities from each and every forecast. We are using the signal, which is the number in the middle, that in the middle is in every square, located in the middle of every square, as we can find here. For example, in NVDA, the signal is 1.32. And the signal is actually the potential movement of the specific asset. We are using this signal to rank the entire investment universe. All the assets that we covered have a signal, and we can actually rank them from the asset with the strongest signal that is located on the top left corner of each and every table, going down to the right until the most negative signal that we have that is located on the right bottom of each and every table, which means that specific asset is supposed to go down in the strongest way. So the signal is actually relative between the assets, and it helps us to focus on the stocks or assets that's supposed to move in the most potent, in the strongest way that we can find. We'll see some few examples for the signals during this webinar. The second indicator that we use is the predictability. It's located on the bottom left corner of each and every square. For example, for NVIDIA is 0.46. That's actually Pearson correlation that moves from -1 to 1. And that actually tells us how good the algorithm can predict the specific asset. So the highest the value is, the better is the prediction. Just to give you an example, if we have the 0.0 here in the predictability, it means that the algorithm can predict in a 50% probability. If we have 1, it means 100%. So 0.5 in the predictability means that we can predict this asset in a 75% probability. So in both cases, we're going to look for highest values. We're going to look for the highest signals and the best predictabilities. And we actually going to give a little bit more focus to the predictability because the most important thing in those predictions to have a good predictability that the asset will move to the predicted direction. And then we can actually focus on the strength of the movement, which represented by the signal. So those two indicators, you're going to see a lot of examples of them in this webinar. But before that, just a quick overview of how the forecasts look like. That's what you get on a daily basis, sent to your mail before the trading starts. Every morning, you'll get this forecast. You have 6 time frames for 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, and 1 month, 3 months, and 1 year. And you get the best asset to hold to each and every time frame. For example, if you're looking at the 3 months, we can find the EAT, NEO, SHAK, and many other 10 other stocks that the algorithm actually tells us that we should buy at the opening of the date that this forecast was sent to us and sell it after 3 months. So this is just an example of how it looks like. And I want to show you the different time frames and see the actual results of the performance of the assets that the algorithm picks. So if we looking at this specific forecast from the 25th of November, this is a 3 days forecast. And we can see that the algorithm tells us to focus on those 10 stocks, for example, LITE, OSTR, and THC. By the way, it's interesting, OSTR and THC are pharma stocks. OSTR, by the way, was founded by Joshua Kushner, and it's located on the top of this table. We can see that their signal is really high. With the right, we can find the performance of those stocks. We can see that light actually jumped by 8.6%. THC moved by 1%. You can find CLSK jumped almost 31%. The crypto-related stock. We can also find SIM here with almost 20%. And we see that the average of this forecast is standing on 9.2%, while the S&P has performed 2.15% in the same time period of 3 days, from the 25th of November until the 28th of November. Those was the results of this specific forecast. Okay, this is the 3 days forecast, and we will jump to the 7 days. We can find, again, the algorithm gives us the best 7 stocks to hold, and we can find stocks from different sectors here. We can find DraftKings from the gambling universe. We can find Abercrombie and Fitch, ANF here with 44%. And we can find AMA Joe, for example, that related to the home builder universe that jumped by 10%. And we can see that the average of those stocks was 12.88%. And an interesting thing to see about this specific forecast is that the ANF, the Abercrombie, had the highest predictability indicator among all those 10 stocks. We can see it's 0.33. And the strongest signal was belonged to DEC, which jumped 8%, but the highest predictability was with ANF, and we see here 44%, which is quite impressive. We can also find American Eagle in the same category, AEO, that jumped 16% in this specific forecast. Going up to the 14 days.
It's interesting to see those two independent forecasts for both Abercrombie and also American Eagle. Basically, they are coming from the same industry, and the two predictions are completely independent ones.
Yeah, and same thing we can say about the 14 days time frame. If we'd look for the best the stock with the strongest signal, CTRN, we can see it moved with the signal of 7.44. That actually performed 12%, and we're talking about 12% in in 2 weeks. All of that while the S&P went down by 0.5%. So in a going down market, we can find that the algorithm focusing on the best stocks to go up. We can find also here KSS is sold, ANF, HBT, and of course, not everything is 100% right. You can see here 2 mistakes that the algorithm have, but still, the average of those 8 out of 10 stocks, the average of the total forecast is around 11%, while the S&P went down at the same time. And now we can see a forecast from the 13th of October, exactly 1 month ago, and we can see that the leading stocks here are, again, from the biotech and pharma sector that we talked about last webinar, which is the leading sector, which performed 13% from then. And we can see Eli Lilly with 32% with the strongest signal. We can see here 33, the signal is 33, while THC right behind it with 3.68, UHS with 18%, NEO with 17%, BKD with 24%, and a lot of those stocks performed really well. Again, while the S&P was negative in that month. That's I think it's pretty amazing to find stocks that goes up in a really strong way, while the S&P actually went down in this specific month. The longer time frame of 3 months is actually having the better predictability. The highest we go with the time frame, the highest we go with the time frame, we can find a really high predictability. We really like this 3 month predictability time, 3 months time frame, because the predictability is pretty high, as you can see here. For example, we have here AVGO that we're going to talk about it later. Really interesting stock. We have KLAC. We can see TSM, and we can find the KTOS. Many of those has a higher return, and of course WDC that we can find here with 100%, more than 100% in the 3 months period, which is quite unique. And we can also find in the 1 year forecast, here we can find some really interesting stock, and we're going to talk about 2025. We can find here a real, which is from the real estate universe. We can find Hood that jumped by more than 250%. We can find the Wolf with 112%, and the average of this 1 year forecast is actually 90%, while the S&P went up by 14%. This is really interesting. Also, we can find here, by the way, TMQ, which actually exploring copper and cobalt resources, and jumped more than 250%. And this is like 1 year ago. I don't think anybody talked about it, but it's actually providing those unique metals that helps to buy electric car. So TMQ with 250%, I think it's remarkable. And this all forecast with high signals and the high predictability. Look at the 1 year signals and predictability. They are really strong and really high. So this is a time frame that we really like. And we're going to talk about this 1 year time frame in a bit.
Right. Yeah, this is actually a good tip. Even if you're trading for the short term and looking for short-term opportunities, we do suggest to verify those opportunities and the movement, and even to start the investment selection by going over the long-term prediction, the 1 year forecast, the 3 month forecast, and then the 1 month, and then to look for the short-term opportunities. Try to choose stocks that appearing in multiple time frames, long-term, mid-term, and also long-term, and also short-term. And it's one of the strategies that we do suggest to use in order to take advantage of the full capabilities of the AI algorithm. It's very interesting to see the predictability level that we see here, Ben. Plantier with 0.81, Wolf with 0.8, quite strong. And I would say there is a very good correlation between the performance and the predictability that we see here.
Yeah, and they asking us in the Q&A if the algorithm help us to choose those stocks. The algorithm didn't help us to choose those stocks. He is the one that chose those stocks. We didn't. It's in this forecast. There is no human interference. It's just the algorithm that on a daily basis generate the best opportunities, and we are bringing you and show you the forecast as it is from the algorithm output. So we don't interfere in the algorithm choices or predictions. We just presenting them here. It's all been made by AI, completely independent. So all what you're going to see here is the AI generated forecast, and we didn't actually pick anything from those forecasts. And all right, let's talk about 2026 and some of the things that people talk about. Generally, we all heard about the two actually main motors for the AI for the next years. The first one is the nuclear energy. AI is actually, and all the semiconductors that follows demand a really high rate of electricity, a massive electricity demand for the data centers, and the nuclear power energy that is now getting really popular. Stocks such as Oklo, OKLO, and SMR that I guess most of you know are getting high demands. And this is, of course, one of the most interesting sectors that we saw in 2025 and still seeing in 2026 as a leading sectors. A lot of those companies are not profitable right now, but their capabilities are really interesting, saying that the small nuclear energy is capable of actually utilize the electricity for a whole city, and it could be moved by be on like a small truck. So it's also could be contained in a small truck and lit a full city for a month. So the nuclear energy sector is one of the most interesting one. Another sector that is mentioned quite a lot is the quantum computer, and also the abilities of those computers is crazy, and it's going to be a new generation of computers in 2026, 2027. The quantum hardware, as we know, as the companies such as RGTI and many other are also have been really popular in 2025. And we think also is going to be popular in 2026 and 27. And another sector that not a lot of people talks about is actually the communications sector that is also going to be part of this AI revolution. Those AI models are actually demanding a bandwidth need, and we can see some fiber optics company that also with high demands are getting into this AI game, and we're expecting this sector to be also one of the leading sector in the AI revolution that we are experiencing, and we're gonna see it in 2026 as well. So for all of these motors that we are seeing now for the AI revolution that we are experiencing, we pulled it into one package. We call it the AI package, and we put all the stocks that actually related to those three motors into one package in which the algorithm actually picks the best stock out of this pool of stock. So we can find some many stocks here, for example, MU, Amat, Google, IAC, ISRG, and we see the performance of those stocks in a 3 days time frame. We can also find it in the 1 year time frame. A lot of companies such as Net, such as Palantir, that actually using AI or will be in this AI pool of stocks that can contribute to the AI revolution. So this package, I think, is really, really interesting. We can see high signals, high predictabilities in some of those companies. So I think it's an interesting package to have and follow in 2026. This is the AI package. Another interesting package, of course, is the semiconductor package. We saw the performance of the stocks in 2025. We see the strength of this sector, and we also have a package that actually focus on semiconductor stocks only. We can find there, of course, for example, AMKR, NVDA, ASML, AVGO, Amat, and many others from the semiconductor universe. And this specific package has a 8.6 average in a 7 days time frame from the 23rd of November up until today. 7 days, this is just the package from the last week, and we can see those performance. And if we'll look at the longer time frames of 3 months, we can find here stocks such as KLAC, LLCX, AMD that made some significant return in a 3-month period compared to the S&P. We can find 27%, while the S&P moved by 5.6%.
Yes. So in those specific packages, basically, the AI is focusing on one specific industry. We have seen before the AI industry in general with all the subcategories, and here we see it within actually analyzing the entire semiconductor universe and identifying the best opportunities out of hundreds of different assets that are related, that are actually semiconductor stocks. And the AI is basically identifying the best opportunities out of this interesting industry.
Yeah, and if you had a forecast on Friday, you would find those 5 stocks at the top of your forecast. This is just the 3 days time frame. Again, you have 10 stocks. We're just giving you examples of the first 5 and just the 3 days, but it's relevant for the next 3 days, next 2 days. And we see AVGO, we see Amat, we see AMKR on an ADI that actually moved up. All the 5 stocks on the top of the table made some positive performance in this forecast. And if you are looking for a package that actually doesn't focus on specific sector, you can choose the top 10 package, which is the most popular package that we have in I Know First. This specific package is focusing on the best stocks out of the American stock market. The algorithm picks from the S&P 500, from the NASDAQ, from the Russell, the best stocks to be in for different 6 time frames. And we can see the forecast that we have here on the 25th of November for 3 days. You have a bonus in this package. You also get a forecast for the S&P 500 index itself, as we can see here. So additionally to the 10 best stocks to long, the 10 best stocks to short or sell, you have a forecast on the index itself, as we can see here for the 3 days time frame, while the S&P went up by 2.15%. And we can see another forecast for a 7 days time frame, as we can find here. And in the top of it, we can see THEME, the shipping company, that actually jumped by 14% in those 7 days. It was a lot. It was really a stock that a lot of people talked about in the in the stock market. And we can see the algorithm actually identify this specific stock as a potential stocks to be in a 7 days time frame. We can also find VCL here, OKE, TDG. But again, this specific package is the algorithm choose the best stocks out of the entire US market. So if you don't have any specific sector that you want to focus on, you let the algorithm do the job for you and pick the best opportunities from the entire US market. And if we, again, check this forecast from the 28th of November on Friday, we can find those stocks at the top of this table. And this one was at the bottom, the NTNX, which actually moved down by 1.12%. But CLSK jumped by 12%, Theme by 3.6%. This is the performance of Friday only, I'll remind you. And we still see that the majority of the stocks here went into the right direction and showed some really good returns in a period of 1 day. This is just 1 day performance, and I think it's also quite remarkable. We also see the S&P index, the S&P forecast here, as we're seeing and known in the top 10 package. Again, you get the best 10 stocks with additionally a forecast for the S&P 500 itself for all 6 time frames. It's important to see the forecast on the index itself because you'll know where's the trend. You also can monitor the market if we going up or going down. If it's a positive market, if you're seeing a quite significant change in the S&P forecast, so you always be you can always follow the direction of the S&P in this specific forecast of the top 10 package.
Right, and another quick reminder: this forecast was sent on Friday before the market opening around 5 a.m. Eastern time with those opportunities. So we have plenty of time basically to read the forecast, to read not only the short-term forecast that we see here, but also the other 6 time frames that's being sent on a daily basis, to map your opportunities and basically to build a roadmap for your trading for the upcoming day with the best opportunities that you would like to focus on.
Exactly. Another interesting package that we have is the Buzz stock package. All the stocks that everybody talks about and mentioned a lot in the social media or the digital media. You can find here stocks such as Apple, NVDA, Microsoft, Broadcom, AVGO, instead, CrowdStrike, SOFI. We have the entire list here. That all the stocks that everybody talks about when you have a coffee break and you hear about them in the news, the most famous stock in the US market, and you have a list of all of this, all of the stocks. Of course, the algorithm scan these stocks on a daily basis and giving you the best opportunities. And we also added to this forecast the Bitcoin forecast, the gold and the silver that you can also follow, and it was interesting in this year. So this is the Buzz package. I think it's really interesting for the 2026. We have the most trendy stocks in the stock market here, and as you can see in the example from the last month, stocks such as MU, VKTX, Netflix, Affirm, and many other. And even in the 1 year, we can find Palantir, Coin, and Hood at the head of this forecast that were really high performed this year. Palantir with 200%, more than 200%, Hood with 330%, and SOFI with 137%. All of those stocks were at the Buzz package that we really like.
Well, by the way, the most interesting thing about the focus that we see on the right is that the top 3 stocks that we see here, Palantir, Coinbase, and also Robinhood, actually are part of the S&P now. So the AI basically picked stocks that actually entered the S&P index during this time frame. And of course, the performance is also affected from the fact that they have been listed as part of the S&P 500 universe. So it's interesting to see here Palantir before the big jump, Coinbase before it got listed in the S&P 500 index, as well as Robinhood.
Yeah, and people exactly now ask us if we have a forecast for ETF. So that's a really good question, as you can see. We have a forecast, of course, for ETF for 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, of course, all 6 time frames. And this is interesting because you can see that the forecast, this specific date was from the 5th of March, 2025. And what you see here is US ETF, but none of those ETFs are related to the US. They all related to Europe. At the beginning of the year, the algorithm gave a lot of weight to Europe over the US, and we can find here Spain, we can find Italy, we can find Germany, we can find Denmark, and many other stocks. We can find the Euro Stocks 50, and all of those actually performed a positive return while the S&P went down in the beginning of March when we experienced some drops in the market. So the ETF package actually gives you not just diversification in your portfolio in the sector point of view, also in a geographical point of view. And you can also find them, of course, the ETF that follows the Indian market, the Brazilian market, the Taiwan stock exchange, and many other stocks, basically stock exchanges around the globe. And you would know where to put your focus on while the S&P or the US market, for example, is negative. So I think it's a really, really important package that you have to have in your portfolio. And holding those ETFs, usually you can benefit from holding them in many, many ways. Some of the ETFs here are leveraged. For example, the TQQ is like the Nasdaq 3 times, but also we have, for example, the home builders or the information technology such as VGT or XLK, that the technology sector. We can see that the focus now from the actually it was happened from May, but we can see this specific focus from August 10, that the focus goes on the semiconductors and technology sector that in the US, and that actually outperformed the market, almost double the performance of the market in those 3 months period. So the ETF package, I really recommend.
Yeah, basically what we see here is the rotation in the market. In the beginning of 2025, we saw that the AI was actually focusing on regions, as Ben mentioned, specific regions such as Europe, specifically the banking sector in Europe, Sweden, France, and Spain, and Italy, of course. And during April, we started to see the rotation. Around April 10th, we started to see the rotation towards the US market and specific sectors within the US market, specifically the technology and the semiconductors. Just in order that you will understand, in order to provide to you this bottom line with the best opportunities from the ETF universe, the AI is basically scanning more than 1,200 different US ETFs, regional and also sectorial ones.
Yep. And jumping to our next package, the Trump package, which I found really, really relevant. In this specific package, we are holding all the sectors that in Trump's agenda, if it's crypto stocks, if it's AI stocks, we just saw, if it's aerospace and defense and military stocks, if it's energy, XLE and XLK is the technology, all based together in a one package. And we can see the performance of these stocks. We have a really interesting combination of many stocks in different sectors. for example, BITF, STX, CLSK, and also PH, for example, that we see here. PH is actually a company that helps pooling data services, a really interesting one. We can find Shopify and, of course, Google, that was here from the 27th of August, as we can find here. One of the magnificent seven stock, the algorithm picked this specific stocks to be in this forecast out of the magnificent seven, and we see remarkable returns of 54% of Google, with a great timing, by the way, to be in this stock. So I think it's a really interesting package, the Trump package. And if you check the Friday forecast of the Trump package, you would find CLSK, Wolf, BITF, and Riot, actually all crypto-related stocks that are in the top of this forecast. And I remind you again, this is a one-day performance. This is just one day out of the 3 days performance of this forecast. And that what happened on Friday. And I think it's actually enough for 1 month performance. But this package is made it in one day. The algorithm provide us the best stock. Of course, there's 10 stocks here. We're just showing you the leading ones with the strongest signal, but there are many other stocks that perform really well in this one day of trading. So the Trump package, really relevant, and I really recommend this specific package. The biotech universe, the sector, we talked about it in the last webinar as well. We saw it leading in the sectors. If we check this forecast that we showed you in November, in the last webinar, XBI, the biotech, was with the strongest signal. After that was the stocks. By the way, the stocks was performed 5%. The XBI was almost 13%. And this is the performance from the last month, from the beginning actually of November. But we can see that while the XBI went up, the SPY was actually negative in the last month. And that is really interesting, to focus on the best sector to outperform the market. It's not easy as it looks here. I think it's pretty hard to outperform the market in 2025. But just by looking at this, actually the first three sectors, XBI, semiconductors, and XLV, this is the biotech, chips, semiconductors, and the healthcare sector, you would outperform the market by more than 5%. This is quite remarkable just by holding ETFs. It's not even stock. So we're going to show you at the end of this webinar what is this specific forecast, but just updated to today, what was the best sectors to hold and best indices that are going to be in the next month, in December. So stay tuned. It's going to happen in the end of this webinar. And we talked about the stocks that jumped by more than 25% and 36%, HBIO, IRGL that we showed you in the last webinar. And of course, after focusing on the biotech, you can open the biotech package and saw these stocks, and that's the performance of those amazing biotech universe. And of course, we have the quantum package. If you want to focus just on the quantum computer package to find the best stocks, more we can see that those stocks are more volatile. This universe is more volatile than the other, but we have a special quantum package that focus on the best stocks from the quantum computer universe. We talked about a little bit about the quantum computer, but the main advantage of this universe, of this world, is computers that actually can solve problems really quickly, problems that used to take years for today's computers to solve. Can be outdone by a matter of minutes. It's the new generation of computers, and I think it's going to be one of the leading sectors in 2026. And we have a special package for that, for the best quantum computers. And this, what we saw in the package of quantum computer on Friday. We saw ONTO, AMAT, NVDA, TSTM, and the COHR. Really interesting to see. COHR, by the way, is also optical fiber and laser company, really interesting company. Looking forward to see what it's gonna perform in 2026. And the one of the three motors that we talked about, COHR, is related to the community, to the communication part. So COHR, I think it's an interesting stock, and the algorithm put it already on the 28th of November on Friday for a 2 weeks time frame. Addition to onto MAT, NVIDIA, TSTM, and many others that you don't see here in this specific forecast. To whom of you that like more of a small cap universe, we have here the Russell 2000 package. Also, you can find some interesting stock here, such as Abercrombie, again, that we've talked about. We can see CVNA, the rental car companies, AEO, Riot, Wolf, and many more if you like small stocks. And now if the interest rate is gonna lower on December, those Russell stocks apparently gonna jump. So the Russell package can also be interesting, I think, for December. And for all of those packages that we just saw, we have special webinar sales for you. It's actually a Black Friday sale. We have 20% off for all the packages. You have to use the coupon code BF2025, and you get 20% off from the regular price. Some of the packages are not included in this specific webinar Black Friday sale, but all the leading forecasts, such as the top 10 that we saw, S&P 500 package, and a lot of many other packages that are included in this deal. So you can find the link for this first Black Friday sale in the chat right now. If you click on it, you'll get and see the list of special packages that you have this discount for. So this available for the next 24 hours. So you have to do that quickly. A really special Black Friday sale that we offered you for all the interesting package that we saw so far. So use the coupon code BF2025 and get your discount now.
Yeah, it's a very good opportunity to test drive the predictive algorithm, of course, without any commitment. Just choose the packages that are available in our menu and type the code BF2025 to claim your 20% discount.
Yep. And now I'm going to talk about the 2026 best AI best stock picks. Our report, we do it in I think the 5th year already. One of the most successful products that we have. I think it's a remarkable product. This report that you just have to buy the stocks and the ETFs and the indices that appear in this report for a period of 1 year. It's a long-term report and a forecast. We are actually using our special 1 year forecast with other models that we have, and we've created this best AI stock and sector report for 2026. So this is going to be launched at the beginning of January, and you can actually buy it now with a big discount of the Black Friday sale. We're going to get to that in a second. But before that, I want to show you the best pick that we have for 2025. And you know what? Instead of actually showing it in a chart, let's open the report itself. And I want to show you how this report look like. This is the 2025 report. This is how the clients get it. And let's go through it and see some of the asset that the algorithm is recommended for the 1 year. We're starting with the indices. The Nasdaq was one of the leading indices, the Nasdaq and Nasdaq 100. S&P was also one of the leading indices for 2025. We can see here the semiconductor equal weight, the XSD, with, of course, remarkable return of 41%, which is crazy. The XSD is actually the semiconductor equal weight sector. The Nasdaq 100 moved by 23%. Just to see the returns, we can find here stocks and the sectors such as the Buzz that we talked about, the special ETF. The Buzz actually made 53% year to date. This is crazy. This is the first index that the algorithm gave, and it's with the strongest signals you can see, and it made 54%. We also have the XLY, XLC, the communication sector, which also is one of the leading, I think is the leading sector of 2025 so far. Right now standing around 24%. We have the XLK, of course, the technology sector. We have the aerospace and defense, which also was one of the leading sector with 49% for in ETF. This is just check by yourself and see the returns of this remarkable sector. And then we have some from each and every sector. We are giving you the best stocks to be in a 1 year, of course, time frame. And we can see here NVDA, of course, and with a 50% so far. We had AVGO in the beginning of the year. I don't think a lot of people talked about AVGO, and it made 60% so far. TSO, we talked about Expedia, also with 20%. What else do we have here? MSTR, CrowdStrike, also with 58%. CrowdStrike with 58%. This is remarkable. We have Meta and we have Google. Again, Meta, Google, and Netflix. Google with almost 50%. Netflix with 25%. And this is actually quite remarkable. Meta is actually with 10% after went down in the reports lately, but still pretty good returns. We can also find Microsoft here and the other stocks that are recommendable. And you can see the list of stocks from each and every sectors. We can find the best stocks to be in. If it's the S&P 500, if it's the Russell, or if it's the Nasdaq 100, we can also find here Shop. Again, with 63% this year. We can find Hood at the beginning of the year. Hood from the Buzz universe, which was one of the most, listen, the Buzz was one of the most recommended ETF for 2025. If you are working right, you will go to this section because Buzz is one of the leading sector, and check which stock is in the head of this sector. And you would find Hood with strong signal, high predictability, and SOFI. Hood is with 293% from the beginning of the year, and SOFI is with 92% from the beginning of the year. This is amazing. And this is how you should work with this report. You check the best sector, and then you buy the best stocks out of the sectors. And we've done all the job for you. You just have to look at the report and buy those stocks and hold them for a period of 1 year. We also have here a strong recommendation from the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, the Solana, which also was recommended in 2025. And I think the most interesting thing that we're going to see here is from the commodities. The silver was at the head of this forecast story, which means before gold, before uranium, before wheat, before soybeans, we had the silver at the top of this commodity forecast. The silver has made 67% from the beginning of the year until actually the end of October. I think November it actually went up in the recent week it jumped by 12%. So this is crazy. We also recommended the gold, by the way, which had 52%, and we also have a negative performance for the wheat, for example, that went down by 12% in the beginning of the year. So we also have long position and short position. And after that, we're giving you a key market indicators. People want to know what's going to happen in the S&P 500, and we saw it was positive, which is true right now. And still, by the way, the VIX, the volatility, the fear index was actually in the top of the table. We saw that it's going to be volatility in 2025. The algorithm is actually identified the volatility in 2025, and we saw what happened in those years. We also have a Magnificent Seven forecast for you, and even sectors to avoid. If it's the Brazilian market, if the global real estate, which actually performed pretty bad, and many others. In the end of this forecast, you will have a conclusion, a summary conclusion, and just by reading this, you will see how amazing this algorithm by predicting the 2025. And you can see that the algorithm see positive market, but volatile in the markets. We can expect this volatility. We saw the Nasdaq 100 and the Nasdaq going to lead the major indices. We saw XLC and XLK will be the leading sector. We saw crypto market going up. And this is the full report of 2025. And by the way, we have the same thing for 2024 in our website. 2023, you can download the report by yourself and see the results. And I'm telling you, this product is something else, because as we saw, the 1-year predictions is actually the best ones, because the predictability is higher in their higher levels, in the higher values in the 1-year time frame. And again, we are using some special model for this 1-year time frame, and get this report and see the performance of the stocks that we can find here. Also the indices, the Nasdaq 100, the S&P 500, and many other that was recommended during this report. We can see the silver. We can see also the currency report, by the way, here, and many others that was actually in this report. And if you want to see like the bigger picture, this is all the assets. Some of them, I must say, went into the wrong direction. Not everything went up, but you can see this line represents 90%, right? So this line is 60%. So see how many assets it made more than 30-40%, while the S&P is around 19% so far, 18% from the beginning of the year. And this is the average of those assets. Is much better than the S&P, and we can see all the stocks and assets that were included in this report. I think it's one of our best products and I highly recommend to get this report in a special price that we have for you for the Black Friday. Instead of $950, you can get it in one-time payment of $849, and it's available just for the next 24 hours. After that, it's going to be in the regular price of $950. So you have to be act quickly to get this report, and you can get it by pressing the link that you have in your chat Zoom, and get this report right now. The 2026 edition is going to be, I think, amazing with the quantum computer, with the communication from semiconductor stocks. We have a lot of things in this 2026 report. So I think it's one of our leading products here at INO-First.
Right. Can you go back to the table with the performance? I see several questions that I would like to address in order to explain what we're doing here. So as you mentioned, even to the tables before the stocks that you have there. Yeah. So basically what we are doing, first, the prediction that you have seen is not the updated forecast. This is the forecast that we generated based on the forecast on the beginning of the year, on January 2025, when we released the 2025 report. So in this report, basically, it's, as Ben said, it's based on our long-term predictive model. We are relying on the long-term timeframes across different universes. First, we are providing the forecast for the entire market, whether it's going to go down or up, which are the leading sectors from the US market, and also the leading regions across the globe. And then we are conducting a drill down within the leading sectors or leading ETFs. So as we saw, for instance, we identify several ETFs, including the BAS ETF and XLC, and additional ETFs. And then we were basically created a drill down, and we identified the stocks that you see here as the opportunity. So for instance, we have seen Robinhood, we have seen SOFI, we've shown Shopify, AVGO, CrowdStrike, TSM, NVDA, Google. Just imagine to have Google way before the crowd, 1 year ago, basically, on the beginning of this year. We can find here Ralph Lauren, eBay, Netflix, Microsoft, Expedia, and very interesting names way before basically it became, it appeared in the news. And as Ben mentioned, the most interesting part is not only the stock part, but also the ETF part and the commodities part. Imagine that you can buy the silver ETF on the beginning of the year, as well as with the gold ETF. Those basically, we are taking the solutions that we are providing to our hedge funds, to the family offices that are working with them, and we are putting all those insights into one simple report that you are receiving. And basically, it's a very good way to build your roadmap to the upcoming year by using this focus. By the way, by the end of this webinar, we are going to see the forecast that the AI algorithm is providing for the upcoming year for both Google and NVIDIA, and it's going to be part of this report, actually.
Yep, exactly. And the 1 year prediction with the high predictability is now available for $84.9 in a one-time payment for this report, instead of $950 that it usually costs. And To another interesting product that we have, the AI portfolio. If you more of a swinger trader and don't want the 1 year long-term trade, we can offer you the AI-powered portfolio, which is an amazing product in which every 4 weeks you get the best 10 assets to buy and hold for a period of 4 weeks. Uh, without you don't have to look at the time frames. You don't have to check the signal and predictability. You just buy the stocks that the algorithm gives you, and actually searching from the entire U.S. market. You're actually doing a really interesting process that we offer generally to our institutional clients. It's focused on the best sector. Then it drilled down to those sector, and every month give you the best stocks to hold for a period of 4 weeks. It could be a stock, it could be an ETF. Every month we have a different kind of asset in this AI portfolio, and you don't have to do anything. By the day you get the asset, you just buy them at the closing price of the same day and hold those assets for a period of 4 weeks. After 4 weeks, you get a new set of portfolio, and if you have to change the stock, you change. If not, you can keep them. And this amazing product is actually provide us 29% from the beginning of April, while the S&P stand on the 18%. And you can see in each of every rebalance the performance of this portfolio. We can see, for example, in some particular month, we have 11% a month, 8%, 6%, 5% in 1 month. We also have some losses here. We can see minus 4%, but in a cumulative return, we can find that this portfolio is standing around 30% from the beginning of April. And just to give you a quick glimpse of how it looks like, for example, in the 2nd of April, this is the first portfolio. Palantir was one of the leading stocks that was in this portfolio and performed 35%. We have Uber as well with 8%, Microsoft and EPI, which is an Indian ETF, and this total return stand on the 3.44, while the S&P actually went down by 0.8%. This is a 5.2% alpha in this specific case of 4 weeks. Then we have another portfolio in May that actually generated 8%, and we can see by holding AMST, IEST, TSM that performed 22%, 11%, and 30%. We also have here VRT, which is a really interesting stock as well. Again, cooling data centers, a stock to follow on. We had the semiconductor ETF, we have the QQQ, we have the aerospace and defense, and all of that together performed 8%. Again, a really interesting portfolio. And the one that has happened in June, we had some remarkable stocks here, such as UPST with 34%, AMST with 26%, IEST with 14, almost 15%. And of course, we recommend buying all these stocks in an equal weight and hold them for a period of 4 weeks. And for this specific Black Friday sale, we offer you this unique portfolio for $300 per month, paid every 3 months instead of $330. You have a 10% discount for this amazing product, in which you just have to buy the asset and hold them for a period of 4 weeks. Let the algorithm pick the best asset for you for your portfolio, and just hold it in your portfolio every 4 weeks. And I really recommend this amazing product. So let's go and again review all the Black Friday sales that we have for you. The first one is 20% for specific assets that we have in our website, such as the top 10, the S&P 500, and many other packages that you can find in our special Black Friday deal. You get 20% off by using the coupon code BF 2025 that you see here. This is the first webinar Black Friday sale. You can find this at the chat in the bottom of the Zoom, and you can, of course, click on it and get to this first Black Friday sale. The second sale that we have is the AI portfolio in a $300 per month, paid every 3 months. You will get the best stocks from the US market on a monthly basis and can generate amazing returns from this AI portfolio. Again, this is a tool that we're giving usually to institutional clients, and now we actually gave it to the private client as well. You can use it as well. So this is our second Black Friday sale. You have this as well. And the third Black Friday sale, we have the full 2026 report. And instead of $950, you can get it for the next 24 hours with $849. Just buy and hold those stocks and assets for a period of 1 year. It's been working amazing in the last 5 years. This year we had 24 average return on all the assets that was in this portfolio. And this is quite remarkable sale. And if you want it all, and you want to get our most interesting Black Friday sale, we offer you 2 12-month subscriptions. The first one is the standard one, which you get the annual 2026 annual AI report, or you can choose between the report or the AI portfolio. And additional to that, you'll get one package of your choice from the packages, the special packages that we saw in this webinar, which means the Buzz package, the Quantum package, the AI package, the Trump package. Those are all exclusively belongs to this 1 year Black Friday sale. You cannot get this package in our website. You can get it just in this sale, and it's will cost you for $299 per month, paid annually, and you'll get or the report or the AI portfolio, and you can add one package of your choice. But that's not the best Black Friday sale, because I think this one has it all, because you're getting in the 2026 report and the AI portfolio. And additional to that, you can choose 2 packages of your choice, and you'll pay for that $399 per month, paid annually. And in this case, you have everything. You have also the annual report, you have the portfolio, and you have 2 packages that you can switch on a monthly basis. You can change them on a monthly basis. You can take the Trump, you can take the ETF, you can take the top 10, you can take the S&P 500, you can get the Quantum, and you're getting the 1 year report, and then the portfolio report, the AI portfolio report, and you can choose 2 packages of your choice for $399 per month, paid on an annually basis. So I think the premium package is our leading package, and you can get all the information you need for 2026 and be ready for 2026. And of course, you have the link to this sale in the chat.
Right. Great. And of course, all those packages include opportunities for long and also short. I'm just answering questions from the chat. And we do have the top 10 S&P 500 plus the AI portfolio combo. It's part of the basically fourth deal that's available on the chat right now. Just a clarification regarding the AI portfolio. Basically, it's the most straightforward product that we are offering right now. Every month, we are providing you 10 opportunities for long position. As Ben mentioned, it's an equally weighted portfolio. So you need to allocate 10% for each position. You are just sending the order for the very same day, and that's it. Every 4 weeks, we are going to do the rebalancing for you. Every 4 weeks, we are providing the updated portfolio with all the updates that you need to do. And for those of you that are basically passive investors, it's a very good solution that can provide you the best opportunities on a monthly basis. I do suggest to combine it with the long-term 2026 report that basically providing the best opportunities for the entire year. As we can see for a long-term portfolio, here you need basically to use this report in order to build your long-term portfolio, and then you have a long-term portfolio for the entire year. If you would like to combine it also with the daily opportunities that our algorithm is basically identifying on a daily basis, you can use basically the daily forecast. As Ben mentioned, we have multiple packages, the top 10 package, the semiconductors package, the quantum package, the ETF package, and those packages are providing you on a daily basis the best opportunities. So basically you can build an active portfolio based on the daily prediction that the AI is identifying, on the best opportunities that the AI is identifying for you on a daily basis, and to combine it with a monthly portfolio and also a long-term portfolio based on the 2026 report.
Yep, and in the 1 year, you can choose between the standard package, again, that you're choosing between the annual report or the AI portfolio, and combine it with one daily package that you get for $299 per month, or to get it all, you get the premium package with the 2026 annual report with AI-powered portfolio every month, and 2 packages of your choice, the special packages that we showed you on this webinar that you cannot get on a website, and you cannot get it with the 20% discount. It's only can be purchased in this specific 1-year sale. So you have, of course, also 24 hours to join us with this Black Friday sale. So you can use any one of those 4 Black Friday sales, and join us to 2020 and be ready for 2026. I see some question about option package. Yeah, option package can also be a part of this 1-year deal.
I see some question, can I go only for the AI portfolio as a standalone package? Yes, of course, please use deal number 3 that is available in the chat. I just sent you the link again. Another question, can I go for top 10 with AI portfolio combo? Yes, again, use the deal number 4, the Black Friday deal number 4 with the annual deal. It includes AI portfolio and top 10. You can choose the top 10 as your second choice. Okay. Any additional questions that you would like to address, Ben?
No, I think we answered everything about this part, and we're gonna go back to him to this part later on the webinar. And of course, we're gonna see in a few minutes the prediction, the forecast for the following month for December of 2025, and to see the forecast for Google and NVDA, which stock is going to be better in 2026. So we're going to get to that soon. By the way, people generally ask us what do we recommend for 2000 for the following month. So Yaron is with the semiconductors and the AI-powered portfolio, and I'm still with the biotech after recommended for last month. I think it's still an interesting sector to be in, but we're gonna get to that later on as well. But this is our recommendation for doing and combining packages together. And now I would like to talk about some short selling opportunities as we saw in 2025, as we saw in the beginning of the year, and even lately. So Yaron, you want to talk about
Yeah, actually, it's the last question that I see in the chat. Is your AI platform predicting market correction crash next year?
they're giving us
So
good
yeah,
questions.
good question. Okay, so what's unique about this predictive algorithm is that basically the ability to predict the next movement of the market regardless of the direction. And here we can see one example from 2025 on the right side and one example from 2020, but let's start with 2025. Actually, as we mentioned, the top 10 forecast includes also S&P, daily S&P forecast. And why it's important? Because it's a very good indicator that can basically support us when we basically defining the direction of the market. So it could be positive, but in some cases it could be also negative, and we have seen it even during this year, this volatile year, 2025. By 27th of March, we started to see very negative indication for the market, negative forecast for the S&P, as we can see here in the middle. And also the strongest signals came from the bottom of this heat map, and it's a very good indication that can point out that the market is going to some negative territory or to some correction. And on the right side, actually, we can see that the market went down by more than 7%, almost 8% during this 14 days period. And we can see also the performance of the short selling position. Those assets actually went to the negative side, and we can see how accurate this forecast was. And this is not the first time that the AI was predicting negative trend or correction in the market. We have seen it also in 2020, while by the end of February 2020, we started to see negative forecast for the S&P index itself, and also the strongest signals came from the bottom of this heat map. And it's very important indicator that I do suggest you guys to track on a daily basis. This is your lighthouse that can help you to identify a correction in the market, or can also support your basically investment decisions. If you see a green indicator, green focus for the S&P 500, of course, you can feel more comfortable to choose stocks for the long side. And this indicator is part of the top 10 forecast. And actually, this is what making this package so interesting, in my opinion.
Yep. And by the way, we also saw it in 2025. In the end of February, we saw some negativity in the market, and we saw it also in the forecast. The S&P, the Nasdaq, and most of the indices were negative. We saw the volatility with the VX10 of the Nasdaq in the top of the table. And in the long term of 1 month, we also saw the S&P, Dow Jones, and Nasdaq are red, and we actually predicted this drop that we saw in the market. So getting the indices, the indices forecast will also help you to know where this volatility is coming. We also saw it in the 2nd of April as well, before the market went down by almost 13%. We got a really, really negative forecast, as you can see here, for the majority of the indices in the US market. So the algorithms also providing us stock market intelligence and letting us know if we are expecting some volatility in the market. And now I want to give you a small taste of the product that we offer to our institutional clients, and we're going to do it briefly. This is a strategy that also automatic strategy that was generated by the algorithm. It's a long short strategy for the Magnificent Seven and S&P 500 stocks. In this universe, the algorithm on every 4 weeks is actually choosing the best stocks out of the Magnificent Seven universe and out of the S&P 500 universe, and providing us the best stocks from the S&P 500. And in the last 6 years, this strategy has performed more than 1,000%, while the S&P went up by 100%. And we can see the returns on a yearly basis. Of course, in 22, 2021, 23, 24, 20, even 25. And this remarkable result also has been additionally with the low drawdown in some of the cases, more than the S&P, and a really good
lower from the S&P, right? You meant
lower from the S&P, and also a Sharpe ratio that also is pretty good. And we can check the strategy versus the SPY on a yearly basis and see how the short and long optionals that we have, the options that we have here, are giving us the gap on the S&P and giving us the advantage for the S&P 500 in 2024 and especially 2025. Well, we can actually predict the market and get the advantages in some short cases and even long cases. So just to give you a short glimpse of how this strategy looks like, the algorithm gives us the weight and the allocation of each and every portfolio, in which stocks we should hold, in which weight, and we're providing us the best 5 stocks from the S&P with additionally 2 semi-sectors, subsectors from the GEEX level 2, and all of that giving us a 1-month strategy. Even every 4 weeks, the algorithm provides us the asset that we should hold to the next 4 weeks. And this strategy is quite remarkable, and only stocks and providing a really good alpha upon the market. So if we have any institutional clients in the webinar today, please feel free to contact us through the website or through the mail that you see on your screen right now. All right, before we're going to see the forecast for December, we have a few more packages for you. We're going to go overview them really shortly. We have the Robinhood package, the best stocks out of the Robinhood platform. And we have the tech package, tech stock only. If we want to focus on technology, the technology sector, you can do that as well. And we have the crypto package, which had some volatility in the last few days, but seems to recover in the last week. So we have also more than 75 cryptocurrencies in 5 different kind of packages for crypto lovers. So follow the crypto packages that we have on the website. and we have some, besides the major currencies, we have some exotic currencies, so feel free to follow. We have the world indices package. We have the commodities, of course, that we talked about with the silver, with the gold, with the oil. All of this commodities are tradable. More than 50 commodities on this specific forecast. We have the currency forecast, more than 100 currencies that have been we have forecast on a daily basis for. So if you like to trade the future or currency, we have the option for that as well. Energy stock and even European stocks from different stock exchanges in Europe, Canadian stock, and of course the Indian market, in which we have a big collaboration with, while we are providing the more than 100,000 Indian traders a prediction, a daily prediction for the Indian market. We're collaborating with one of the leading brokers in India, Shunya it's called, and giving prediction on a daily basis for more than 1,500 stocks in the Indian stock exchange. And now, for the forecast of the following month, let's see what the algorithm thinks about the next month. And we can find some interesting things here, such as the SOFs, the semiconductors, regain its crowd and being the lead sector for the following month. We still see the biotech is in the top of this table. We can find also the home builders, XHB, a really interesting sector that looks pretty good as well. And we still see the healthcare, XLV. Actually, we're seeing a lot of healthcare sectors here, or subsector. XHE is the healthcare equipment. XES is related to energy. And we saw the biotech, we saw the XLV. We also can find that the S&P 500 basically is positive, and the Nasdaq is also positive for the following month. So we expected to close 2025 in a positive way. We have the IVW, which is the S&P 500 growth. It's located right here with good signal and good predictability. We always have to take care and look at the predictability because some of those ETFs have a lower predictability, but IVW looks good, XHB looks good, SOX looks really strong, XBI as well. We can also find IYW, which also related to the technology sector. We can see Japan here with topics, which has a strong signal. We can find IWB, which refers to Russell 1000. Also looks pretty good for the following month. Nasdaq 100, you can see also European stock, SX7E, it's the European bank that looks quite positive. And in general, we're looking that the market expecting to be positive in the following month. Interesting to see XSD, the semiconductors equal weight, is actually located down here, while the stocks is located on the top of the table. Again, XSD is the equal weight semiconductors, while the stocks is not equally weighted, which means NVDA is one of the biggest part of this universe, but not just NVIDIA. But it's interesting to see the difference between the equal weight to the weighted one in the semiconductors universe. Yaron, something that I missed that you see about the forecast?
No, I think you did a good job. Actually, semiconductors, IVW, and XHB are the most interesting places to focus on. It's also interesting to see the NDX, the Nasdaq 100,
Mhm.
and the differences between the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P. It
Yep.
could be interesting as well. And by the way, seeing the semiconductors there, it means that it's not enough to buy just a semiconductor, any semiconductor stock. We do suggest to use the semiconductors package in order to drill down into this sector and to get the best semiconductors picks out of that interesting universe.
Yep. And for the second thing that we promised you, which one is better, NVIDIA or Google for the next year? We have the forecast for a 1 year prediction, and we can see that actually, if I'm looking at an objective look, it's kind of a draw. We're seeing Google with a high predictability level of a 1 year prediction, while NVIDIA has the highest signal for the 1 year prediction. And I think both of those stocks are going to be key players in 2026. And not just me, the algorithm basically thinks that. And we are having a really positive prediction for both of those stocks. Google has its advantages by being independent in the supply chain, providing almost every service in the supply chain, while NVIDIA has demands for the following 2 3 years forward. So I don't think both of those companies are going to have problems in the next year, but both of them look pretty good at the eyes of the forecast of the algorithm. And I say, why don't you get both?
Yeah.
Don't have to pick one, but both of them look quite strong for the following week. Google has the highest predictability, NVIDIA has the highest signal. Tough choice,
Ben,
but
what happened to Warren Buffett? He heard that we had Google in our portfolio since the beginning of the year.
that because he was holding cash
It was holding cash.
the majority of the
Okay.
year, yeah, on there.
I see. Okay. By the way, I see you in the crowd there. So
Yeah, right
wave
over
in.
here,
Yeah.
right over here,
Yeah. Exactly.
behind the robot.
And
Uh,
and the full Magnificent Seven forecast. By the way, AVGO is part of the Magnificent Seven stocks right now. So the full Magnificent Seven forecast is part of our 2026 report. So don't miss it. It's very important in my opinion, for the upcoming year. With other surprises, the best picks across different investment universes, the best picks from the S&P 500 universe, the best ETF for the upcoming year, the best Russell 2000 stock, the best Russell 1000 stock, and also from the leading sectors, we are going to drill down and to map the best stock opportunities out of those universes.
Yep, and let's sum up our deals before answering your questions. The first deal, 20% off from all some of our chosen packages. You can use the coupon code BF2025 and get your 20% discount from the regular price. The second Black Friday sale is the AI powered portfolio subscription. You pay $300 instead of $330, paid every 3 months, and you can get the AI powered portfolio every 4 weeks, the best asset to hold for a period of 4 weeks. You don't have to look for predictability or signal, just buy those assets, and you're supposed to outperform the market. The third Black Friday deal is the amazing 2026 report, a long-term model report that we suggest you to buy and hold for a period of 1 year. Choose the best stocks and ETF and indices out of this report. You'll get this for the next 24 hours in $849 instead of $950. So use this discount in the next 24 hours. And our 1 year packages that we have, the standard one that You can choose between the 2026 report to the AI portfolio and get one of the package of your choice. If it's the top 10, if it's the Trump, if it's the AI, one of the unique packages that we present you in this webinar, and you get this deal for $299 per month paid annually, or you can get the best deal for the Black Friday sale, which is the 12 month subscription with the premium package. You get the 2026 annual report plus the AI powered portfolio, plus you get to choose two of the packages that you saw in this webinar, and you can switch them or change them every month, and you get this for $399 per month. And I think you can get it all in this deal. Highly recommended. You get whatever you need to deal with 2026 and be prepared for the following year. So we highly recommend to join us. And this amazing technology with this webinar sales, all the sales are in the chat and available for the next 24 hours. All right. I think we can answer some questions now.
Yes. Let's see. Okay. Regarding our suggestion for the Black Friday deals, I think we gave you our suggestion. By the way, the 2026 report is highly recommended as well, of course. Quantum is going to be part of the 2026 report then?
Yep, quantum. We're gonna have a quantum section here. Of course, we're gonna see what's the algorithm, what's the forecast, and then follow the forecast. But I think this sector will be included in this report, and of course some specific stocks from this universe will be also included in the yearly report.
Okay, we answered the question regarding the ETFs. Let's see, and options as well are part of those combo deals. I think what is the methodology for the 2026 stock picks? I think I answered it as well. Basically, we are relying on the long-term predictions, the stocks with the highest predictability, the highest convictions, and it's quite similar to the solution that we are providing to our institutionals, basically focusing on the long term, but we're using all the different time frames that are available out there, and then we are drilling down into the leading sectors in order to use the power of the AI and to identify the best opportunities in the very same way as we did it in the previous year with Robinhood, SOFI, Google, and other names that were part of this report.
I think we answered we answered majority of the question. 2 hours webinar. Wow, that's impressive.
Time is flying.
Time is flying. And so thank you all for joining us for this webinar today. We hope you join us with this unique service that we have that uses the technology in the AI universe to forecast the stock exchanges and the stock market, and hope that you'll join to this adventure with us. So thank you for being with us in this webinar. Thank you, Yaron.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for a very interesting webinar. And guys, thank you for the trust. And good luck. Good luck in the upcoming months.
Bye-bye.
Okay.